Do we have any visitor comments today?
Yes, please. Brian, 3 minutes, is that right?
Yes, sir. We have
All
a
right.
agenda.
All right, there you go. Jamie and Marie, this will be kind of a revival for you since I've said this at city council meeting, but I've lived in Webster for 25 years, and here's what I know. Sales tax is the biggest source of city's revenue every year, and the city every year is always looking for a new revenue source. 2, Webster Groves has always been looked at as a low business tax base, that we have a low business tax base versus other municipalities. And 3, that the community has always rejected the inclusion of major retailers, big box stores, or shopping centers. And Webster Groves is somewhat unique in our inner ring, so to speak. My family shops regularly at Webster Grove stores, but just in December and January, even post-holiday months, I spent a lot of money at REI, Michael's, PetSmart, Target, Costco, and Lowe's. And I'm sure that some of you spend some of your money outside of Webster Groves. I wonder how many millions of dollars that is. And so my simple question, my nagging question as a 25-year resident is there a middle ground with big box stores where on the perimeter of our city, whether it's like Yorkshire Shopping Center or the 20-year green space on South Brentwood that's owned by Jim Onder and Brian McLean that's been vacant for 20 years, that maybe 1, 2, or 3 major retailers that are away from our 3 shopping centers, that are away from our neighborhoods on the perimeter, that could add to the revenue base of our city, which the city always tends to look. So anyway, that's all I want to know. That's my comment as a 25-year resident. It's nagging questions that I have.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Before jumping into our really deep agenda that we have here, because I don't want to run out of time, I'd like to do one new business and acknowledge all of the contributions that Dr. Peoples has made to our community.
Thank you.
And wish you the best moving forward.
Thank you. It's very kind. It's absolutely been my pleasure to be here.
Okay, so here we go. Has everyone had the opportunity to read the minutes from the last meeting? Do we have a motion to approve? Sorry. All in favor? Any opposed? No. Unanimous. Old business. The January 29th after hours gathering feedback. How'd that go?
Package. I had a blast. Full house.
It was a full house.
You know, I wish Melissa was here because we all owe a little bit of a debt of gratitude to her. She pulled out all the stops and the increase. Did she?
Yes.
Well, we should keep her around. We're just giving you accolades.
But I missed the part where you all talked about me.
You're a great party.
And you also stepped in at the last minute. Thank you.
Yeah. Glad it worked out.
And we probably owe you for, at least 3 broken glasses. I thought I was at a wedding. Yeah. Really, you're throwing a good party when, like Tim and I were the last ones to leave at a little bit after 8, and there was still a conversation going. So, it was a little bit of a risk when you bring 2 communities together and the BDC, but I trust that everybody was fairly well represented. I thought Mayor Arnold lifted the evening just dramatically. I mean, just her presence. She spoke, very eloquently and educated the group as to why we were here. I think that certainly what I was hearing from the Kirkwood group was This was way beyond what they expected. They thought it was just gonna be a couple of drinks and in and out. But the fact that, we hosted a mayor, there was also the mayor of Glendale was there, Mayor Wilcox. I met a ton of people and, John, I think you had right?
Had a great time.
Yeah, I mean, so I say let's do it again. And the good news is it cost a whopping $360 each.
Pretty good.
Not bad for a party,
And the food was.
So, who do I send? I covered the cost for the city. Do I send you an invoice? Okay.
Well, with the feedback from Kirkwood, is this something that the chamber is looking at doing again in the future, or was this a one-off?
No, we decided right then and there, we're gonna do it quarterly.
Okay,
Right,
wow,
we'll still have 3 more.
excellent.
So.
Good news. I'm here. Okay, the opportunity coffee update for the April meeting, Eric?
So I included some. Well, we don't have paperwork on it, but we talked about potentially having third party, like the municipal league, come and speak on the impact alleviating the state income tax would leave on municipalities, right? So that's a hot item that might move towards the August.
Maybe everybody doesn't know
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. So
that the state's talking.
if
about
everyone
this.
doesn't know, but state of Missouri's talked about eliminating the state income tax, which would cause a gap in the budget, right? But would be made up primarily by sales tax. So we would need to offset it somehow, and we could invite someone to talk about it, right? To brainstorm, to
Just to find out where it's at, because in the state, in order to meet their budgetary needs, we're assuming, and what we're hearing is that they are going to raise sales taxes. Well, that is one of the very, very, very few options available to at least us as a municipality. I'm not sure if that's the same for all other municipalities. And so we're hoping that we could find someone to come in and just give us an update on where it's at and some solid information.
You're also talking about moving from a graduated tax to something that is equally applied to everybody regardless of income. So it's a big change in the way that money is distributed.
It's regressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tammy, the executive director of the St. Louis Municipal League, he might be willing to come. I can ask him.
That would be great.
Okay. What's the date again? I apologize. April 16th, right here.
Yeah.
Yep, great. I'll check with him.
thank you.
Mhm.
So Tammy, last meeting, we talked about comprehensive plan being presented. This topic is certainly more timely and desired. So should I tell staff?
Well, no,
That's all.
actually, we were going to ask, because Eric and I both tried reading through the comprehensive plan.
Oh,
and we
that's
got about
probably good.
halfway.
Yeah.
We got about halfway. Is that just like an umbrella overview?
So what I had requested is if you guys would give me like a couple bullet, like what
Right.
really interests you, and we had received those. This can be tabled. The taxes is a much more timely topic. I just don't want to lose track of the comp plan if that's something you all want.
I think that the comp plan, because it would, I think it would greatly affect our business districts and our community, is like a really major topic, but in order to accomplish it, we need to know what sort of resources are going to be available.
Sure.
And so they're kind of go hand in hand to move down the same road and in the same direction. We haven't gotten all the way through it.
I understand that. So, well, just let me know and we'll.
Has the city identified any kind of first layers or
Still in progress. Right now, what we have out, actually it's probably been returned, was an RFP to help us determine which codes to update first, how to go about doing that. And a lot of it will depend on this year's budget. So yes, we're working on all of that.
because what we think is in order to have this conversation and engage people meaningfully, having some signature, the kinds of things that we pull out of the plan that we could point out to people to understand why we're looking at where the funding can come.
It may be better served than for your next coffee or event. So we can talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Yeah, not take time. I just didn't want to lose track of it.
Sure. Okay, third quarter, the business survey results, can you give us the wording? No,
So
no, it's a cover letter, sorry, we're not there yet.
yeah, so I just included a rough draft of what the cover letter could be to the Explore It St. Louis welcome letter, cover letter from the BDC to potential business owners. So I think it's a really good program, but yeah, it's good to get behind it, you know, as a BDC.
Does anybody, I wrote down a few notes of some questions that may come to mind, like from a business, like reading it. Do we know it, like things like the cost? Can we, like, is this going to be distributed like electronically? Like, can we put in a link so that they can then just go directly to the portal?
Yeah, because
And-
I think mentioning the fact that there's a discount for businesses because the city's sort of the main sponsor is like a good point. to make.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then,
Yeah.
yeah, the actual cost of like what a yearly whatever membership is or whatever.
And making sure that they can clearly identify the benefit to the community and to like their colleagues and business peers. Did anybody else
Yeah.
have any notes?
Do we have a list of those participating?
Oh, that's always fun to see too. It's
Yeah.
like who else among your peers is participating? That's a great one.
Yeah, so I can get that from them, you know,
Yeah.
from Explore Sale folks.
Also, so I know, I forget who was saying they had the same experience at the last meeting, but like when I signed up for Betty's Books, it wasn't immediately clear like what I feel like maybe just giving a little information like right away, these are the things that will happen, or maybe it's feedback we could give them.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really get confirmation or anything, and it felt a little nebulous.
No firm handshake or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was one thing I just feel like it's a good deal. Like
Yeah.
it's not that much money, but it's still like you want to feel like right away you're like, oh,
So,
I'm
so
part
like
of
you
the
didn't
group.
get a confirmation email or anything like that?
it was just like an automated
Yeah.
kind of very
So the onboarding process,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
yeah. And I know
Okay.
I want to say maybe it was Marnie saying so.
Oh, from yeah.
Okay, yes, that she had the same experience too.
Okay.
So I don't know, but just because we definitely don't want to be like, yeah, everyone sign up, and then people are like, what even has happened? You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or like ways to boost the effect of signing, you know,
Yeah.
some helpful hints or something.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay.
So
Do you need to, do you have the ability to let Eric know? Because Eric
Yeah.
isn't signing up.
Yeah. I can like sort of be like, here's what happened when I signed up.
Okay.
I got this automated email, and then that was all that happened.
Just send me a blank email. That'll
Okay.
work.
No, I can, but I can just send it to you. And I have on my list to reach out to them. and
Okay.
say like, hey, what's next?
Yes.
So, but yeah,
Okay. And you signed up recently?
I signed up in very beginning of December.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, maybe it's because of the time of year. But then I felt that wasn't the case.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But I'll
You got it.
forward you what I got.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we have the third quarter business survey results, Jerry.
So, Fran has kind of copied this, thank you, and circulated this. This was emailed to everyone, I believe, yesterday. Kind of tippy-toeing into this, I would ask the commission to look at this in three parts. Right, any kind of a survey. We spent and invested a tremendous amount of. I'm sorry. We invested a tremendous amount of time kind of prepping it, going back and forth on different types of questions that we wanted to ask. We settled on the questions. That was leg one. Leg two, we sent it out there. We got the results. There were 35 to 36 respondents. And And then I think that we have a responsibility to kind of put a bow on it. And while we have charts and things like that, I wanted to, put that bow on it by, doing a summation study. The truth of the matter is that there's no aha moments in any of this. But what I felt would be helpful, rather than looking at just data points, is to draw some conclusions. So while the findings can be thought of as quantitative, because there are data points here, what was missing is a qualitative wrap up and say, okay, what does this really mean? So this is a draft. I went through, just kind of reformatted it. This is, I tried to extract any emotion from this whatsoever. Like I said, there was no aha moment. I think that somebody would read through this and go, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because it's such a thin finding, right? When you talk to only 36 people, it's typically you're talking to the same group. So wide open to whether we do anything with this, condense it down even further, but I would love to see us be able to kind of complete the journey and get this out there. Yeah.
That makes sense. I agree. There was no aha moment. I think looking now that we are ahead and can look back, there was a great deal of uncertainty in that time period as well. That we were asking people to also project, like things.
If we choose to publish this, I think what's missing are the dates. When did we initiate this and when did it stop? So that there's bookends on either side of this. I would say the only thing, and I really did pour through this, if there is an aha, it's not real, it's an obvious one, and that is that online shopping is really stealing market share. Convenience, pricing, because what we're hearing, and this is the qualitative side, and I think we would all kind of agree to this, is that generally the consumer will go into a retail location and say, oh, I really like that. Can I take a picture of that?
Well, but that's inferring.
Yeah.
That's inferring that that's what they're doing. They may go in and go, I really like that. I'm going to put that on my wish list for my birthday or Christmas or something, so if we're trying to be just by the data.
Yeah.
I think there is aha moments in the qualitative when what you're talking about the summation, right? And I would even build off what Dave was talking about earlier in the sense of how do we remain who we are and reverse these trends, right? Because what I saw from it is it's not as much the change in foot traffic, but it's the ability to turn a profit, right? And that's what's been getting squeezed more and more and more over time. You go back 50, 60 years, a lot of the businesses that operated in our town owned the building that they operated in, right? So you're building equity as you're running a business and you have something to hand down and there's legacy. That's changed over time, right? And then over the last 8 years, as much as I love a minimum wage, the increase that's happened has not been, there's no way to make your books balance to have the profits increase, especially as costs are going up. And in the last couple of years, the way utilities and insurance big and taxes have hit small businesses, there's just not, even if there was no increase in foot traffic or anything else. And what you're inferring from the online, I think is correct. But I think just the data here is enough to show on a P&L for any business. If you plot that out on the P&L numbers, it's unbalanced, right? And that's not one just data set. I've been feeling that for years, right? And if we're going to, I see most of my purpose here in the marketing subcommittee is to try and find a way to us advertise and bring in business and be different, right? And I think that's where we have to try and figure out ways, how do we make us the haven for small business, right? How do we make, because we already have it, right? How do we make it the place to be? How do we make it so that you come and operate a business here, you can advance, your employees can have a living wage, and there could be, how do we create that? I don't know if we can alone, right? I don't know if it's a big dream, right? But I think of anybody looking around, like Dave said, I think we have the potential to do it. We're already there. We've been doing it. It's just become unsustainable. So how do we make it sustainable? And I don't know how you change things like utilities. There's so much big picture stuff in there that's harmful, right?
I think the other wild card in this is the vast differences of respondents, right? You could be having, your business is based on perishable goods versus, fixed inventory.
Or services.
Services.
Yeah,
So-
so,
You really have to read through this and
I think
Go
if
through a
we
filter.
do surveys, it could be in future, it could be helpful to have people identify what sector they're in. Because like services, whether, it's a salon of some sort or something, may have increased foot traffic where boutiques or, other retailers are seeing it soften. It could help, or restaurants could help.
Yeah, I mean, like food costs are like way out of control compared to some other things, so it's
Right.
like, yeah.
It's fixed costs that are killing everybody, right?
And we do have that data, right? We know who the respondents are. So without, disclosing those,
Backdoor, yeah.
so without disclosing who they are, just what would, I think, add a little bit more meat to the bone here is to categorically say, among these 35 are represented in A, B, C, D. So okay, I can kind of look through this through the lens of
So,
some relevant.
I guess then the next question would be, so maybe it needs a summation paragraph that says some of the things that you're expressing, that you and John are expressing. And then how do we share that with the business community, like in the newsletter? So maybe if there was like a paragraph and then a link to the summation that you
Sure.
created.
So I started an overview,
Okay.
and that's the first part of this is just at 5,000 feet. But I think what's critical would be those, the dates. When did we start it? When did we end it? And what are the industries or what are the
Sectors.
yes.
Okay.
And then what I would love to do is, once we figure out what the distribution is, I'd love to, have the permission to be able to, send this through to the quad. And, have them share this as well.
Oh, the results.
Yeah, I mean, once,
Do you need the date information?
yes. Yeah, date information and sectors.
I thought these charts were really easy to read, though. I did. Like, I would like that. And well, for me, it was at least going through and reading each question and just seeing where the spreads were. I think in the end, looking back at the questions we asked and the way that we categorize things, I think those helped me understand a little bit more about really where people were at between more, same, less. I thought all of that was really good.
The other thing I did do was, I bundled. So when, just randomly here, gross sales overview, where, we had up 6%, up 1 to 5%, and then down, right? The opposite side of that. I just bundled those percentages, did the math, and so it made it a little bit more of an interesting summation.
Color coding.
That helped a lot.
Okay, so does anyone else have any questions or comments? So then does anyone else have a suggestion other than the newsletter and the quad for sharing it?
What's the next steps? I mean, if I can grab, those missing data points, I can edit it. I can swiftly get it to Fran. We can route this for one more set of eyeballs.
I can get you the data information today. I'm not sure what the back end looks like with sectors, so I can look at it today and either get it to you or tell you I can't.
Okay, I can sign an NDA too.
No.
So maybe the paragraph that you have on here could go into the newsletter.
Yeah.
And then with either as an attachment or a link to the full survey where they can look at the different.
Yeah. So I can work to provide you the raw file
Yeah,
and
perfect.
along with a link. When is the next newsletter coming?
And
Next
it's the
week.
end of the month, and I think the draft is due next. So just
Yeah, get this to you.
forget what day that
Tuesday.
is. Monday, Tuesday is good. For Jerry to send it to me. Sure. Because I think the draft is.
So I'll do
You don't need to
the,
give her a link. I can put a link to the PDF that you provide.
Nice.
efficient.
Great, cool.
Now we are on to the marketing subcommittee update.
Yeah, we put together this letter here that could be given to anybody, kind of get an idea of what the subcommittee is. I don't want to send out another email on this. I'd like it to kind of be something that anybody could take and give to somebody that was interested, especially since we're going to be more pointed in the people that we tried to collect for this. And so it's just giving the idea of what we're trying to do is get a look at our current spend, what we're getting back on it, and putting together a plan that we can work together. Did I get those names right of the seasons? I took it from the video. No.
No, that's okay. I wrote them down here.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, and they can always be changed and updated by the committee. It's just kind of a starting spot.
Yeah. And I think for the letter, and I didn't have time to go back and look through old subcommittee notes from the other subcommittee. But I'd like to have for each one of those seasons, kind of the events that currently exist that we want to bundle together so people get an idea of what that means, right? So if that information is readily available, I'd like that too. I've talked to a couple people in the community. I've got them on here. Chris from Digital Strike, or Wes is what he goes by, is really interested. I met Ben. It's the first time I met him at that get together. He pointed him out to me. He's interested. I think there's a general interest. We got to get some people from the businesses, and then looking at, not to jump ahead, but looking at the content framework that was provided by the city, which is great. We're going to have to figure out how to address this review section, because in order for us to really work together and be able to publish through the social media, there does need to be some kind of filter. I definitely agree on that. But a 5 to 7 day turnaround, which is even generous, right, is going to be hard for a subcommittee that meets quarterly, right? So figuring out how to either hire someone to do that and have people, I think if we could put together an overall proposal, you notice in here I talked about the resources. It's the city of Webster, the business district, what we can give, and then the individual businesses, figuring out what could be budgeted, what they could kick in. And, because everybody's got some kind of marketing budget, I'm guessing that if we pooled it, we could be way more effective in spending it than we would individually. So trying to kind of figure that out would be one of the biggest things.
Yeah, do we have an idea of the volume that could be coming in? You know what I mean? So like
The traffic for the social media?
Yeah.
Not at this point. I think we would probably work backwards from there, trying to figure out what would be most effective. Because that's the thing that changes so quickly. I used to post every day, now 3 times a week. And the next month somebody's like, no, you should only be doing reels every 3rd hour. You know what I mean? It's hard to say. And so I really want to lean on our marketing experts to say, okay, we need this short form video. This is what we need to be focused on and putting it out. And once we know what we want goal wise, we can work backwards to determine what the work will be.
So the idea with the letter then is that we would all receive like a copy electronically, or we could print out to hand to people that we think should talk to you about joining.
Yep. And so it's more just a conversational piece, right?
Okay.
Something to have. I'll put a few in my car. If I run into somebody, out to dinner or whatever, I'll say, hey, because that's where I see most people socially. Right. And then we need to get buy-in to get it to be really effective.
And then my other question is, since it is something that's initiating from the BDC, do we need to have letterhead on it? Is it appropriate to ask for Webster Grove's letterhead on?
I don't see not.
Okay.
Sorry, I missed this because I went to the restroom, but what specific types of people are you really hoping to recruit? I see you have these guys.
Well, we're trying to get, I reached out to more people than the 2 people that have responded, right? And so I'm trying to get as many people that up front are specializing in marketing and know social media, or, Ben's more in like business organization and different type of organizational things you can do within these businesses. And try to expand anybody that's going to be able to help us build an infrastructure, right, for moving this thing along. Because I think where the problem we've had in the past is we do things piecemeal, right, and then it just doesn't fit when you try to look at together as a big picture. So trying to build something that we can get everybody bought in on, and then moving from there. But we need some business folks involved, but the reality is that most business folks are already stretched too thin to spend a lot of time doing the kind of work that this subcommittee is going to need to do. And I'm
However, they could help maybe guide the people who know the infrastructure into what they're finding is connects the most with their customer base.
Yeah, and so the second bullet point of the thing, we need people that want to serve on the subcommittee, but we need businesses willing to share their marketing data, insights. That's the hard thing to get from people. I was looking at these survey results and I was wondering, like, how many people are actually answering this 100% on what's going in. People just such have a tendency. We have a society that wants to hear happy, right? And so it's people are nervous to share certain things that aren't successful. But I would guess that most people's marketing money isn't spent super successfully, right? And I'd like to see what their data is, who they've got coming, what the demographics are, so that all can be fed. You get enough data, right? We can be really effective, but we need these people's data, and there's no other way to get it.
So are you wanting it in like specifically from like the businesses, like Betty, Tim, and all that, with their data, or because we had spoken before about a marketing survey from Q4 that would go to everyone. So are you like being selective or broad?
I haven't decided yet. The big challenge here is to get in front of people, right? And that's why I don't want to send out an email yet. I'd like to kind of build ground up first, before we can get broad. I think whatever we end up doing with this survey, I'd like to link that to this next, right? Okay, here's what we got out of this. Here's some information. Here's our next step in trying to build a plan. We need this information from you. And then maybe from that point, go, and I'm hoping at some point if we can get people engaged through the marketing subcommittee, because it's going to be a lot of contact to get stuff for Explore Webster Groves. There's going to be a lot between the businesses that will actually give us a place that if we have really important information, we can, because that's the hard part is getting in front of the people and getting them to read it and engage with it, and I don't want to. So the answer is I don't know at this point on what's going to be most effective.
Okay.
Do you have a number in your head of how many members you're thinking?
For the subcommittee?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No.
Like under 10?
Yeah.
Do you want some more marketing people ideally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like to throw as many darts at the board for the first meeting as I possibly can to see who's really got the buy-in and who's interested, and because that's where we'll figure out as we start to work through things. We'll start to figure out who's interested and wants to stay on, and who just wanted to hear what was happening.
I can send you
More.
probably another half a dozen names.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll just send out an email. I'll send those people this, right? and get an idea there and kind of let it build from that point rather than trying to dictate too much about what it should look like.
So your goal for the first meeting is in April? Is to get any kind of fresh recall from Q4. Is there anything that you wanted to do before April?
No.
Okay.
Just to maybe get that working towards getting that second survey out. so that there was some data for us to chew on in the first meeting and talk about,
Yeah,
plotting where energy should be put and looking at what the city's put together for to explore Webster Groves and figuring out how we could implement that. Because I think that's probably the quickest start to engagement, because that's where people are most eager people are already producing a lot for online, and be having a place where they can magnify their reach. I think we'll get some buy-in as well. So I'm trying to really focus on concrete things. That's why I had the potential first agenda items, things that we could be looking at right off the bat.
okay, so then you do want the survey before April?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have a goal of when that would go out?
No. I kind of wanted to come in today and see where we were at with this before I determined when that would go out. So I'll probably start working on something now. And I would appreciate it if we could still work through the same process we went last time to with the three, or anybody else that wants to, Joe, jump you on there.
Yeah.
And start looking at the survey and because I think that produced a pretty good result.
Okay. So is the goal then to have a proposed survey by the beginning of March when we have our next meeting?
Yeah.
To approve or, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Yep.
When will the BDC folks have that letter in hand to give out
They do.
on letterhead?
Oh, I don't know. I don't own the letterhead.
Do you make your changes that
Yes,
you talked
yeah.
about today?
Tammy's gonna send me the changes so I
We can
can,
do that today.
yeah, and then who has the letterhead?
Give that
Send it to
immediately.
Okay.
Or send it to you to send to him. Yeah.
Or I mean, if we just, if you
Yeah.
send, yeah, if we just send that to Fran, or you send it to me and have to get, because you've got to put it out, right?
You may need it in the future. How about I just give you some letter?
You're
And then if
Don't worry.
All right. So,
Well, I'm already thinking Melissa needs it by next Tuesday, for example. Because she's gonna be meeting with a bunch of folks in Old Orchard. next
Okay.
Tuesday.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I can get
thinking
that
ahead.
Thank you, Fran,
over the weekend.
keeper of the meetings.
Asking them.
Well, exactly. And I'm making an assumption, but I thought I should state it. It's Webster only.
Yeah.
This is
The
a Webster
right.
commission.
Mhm.
Cool.
Great. Any other questions or comments? I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, that
I
sounds
like the way it
awesome.
sounds, yeah. Okay, explore Webster Groves content framework, Jordan.
It's just kind of a continuation, and I'll be very brief. The content framework was really sort of a jumping off point. There was always going to need to be some further refinement based on the formation of the subcommittee. But basically what we're doing, this is a framework for the business community to submit content for the Explore Webster social media platforms and the website. We presently have about 11,000 followers on the Facebook page, or around 4,000 on Instagram. So the Facebook page in particular has a substantial built up following, and the page has been largely dormant. I think Fran has shared some items to the Explore Webster Facebook page in the last couple of months, but largely there's been no original content going to these platforms really since May or June of last year. So apologize, my voice is kind of weak today, but basically, content take a lot of different forms, short form reels, photos, blog posts, podcasts, calendar events, just graphics. You think about upcoming events, I'm thinking about this week. I think today, in fact, is the Old Webster Galentine's Charm Crawl.
Correct.
Yeah.
Ideally, I think there's a collection of businesses, maybe half a dozen or more, that are participating. I mean, we should have a reel up right now. Let's take a stroll through Old Webster and visit some of these businesses. Let's talk to some of the owners. And so ideally, this is the sort of content that would be, and I think there's a huge appetite for it. So I'm excited that we're getting to a place of where businesses are going to be plugged in and submitting generating content. So anyways, again, we have all this content that will be ideally reviewed by a marketing subcommittee and then provided to the city to post. The last meeting, John, you had expressed some reservations about using Dropbox. So that was one change that I made based on the recommendation from our IT staff. They have recommended FileTransfer.io, which is a secure platform. The files are encrypted in transit. And that would be my suggestion as to how we send files back and forth. Obviously, they're going to be larger than, especially the video files, larger than an email attachment. I think, John, you had also requested some of the file size data for our website and the preferred formatting for social media. So I tried to include that information just about, if images were to be going to the website, how those should be formatted. And then just suggested image sizes for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well. Again, I apologize for my voice today. We also need to start updating the community calendar on the city website. I think back to the old Webster Fall Festival, and Fran and I were kind of talking about that event a month or so after it happened. Our site had a huge boost in traffic on the days of that festival. I think we had 4,100 unique page views on the Saturday and Sunday, people that were anxious for information. And the city's website, was the top search result on Google for that event. I think the festival, Old Orchard, had created a website, but people were still going to the city's website for information. And so, again, we're in the process of doing a major revamp on the site. The refresh is coming in May, tentatively. So I'm excited about that, but I will say our site already is well positioned to perform, strongly with search engine optimization, the SEO, the traffic that we're getting from social and from Google. So I think there's just a tremendous opportunity here between the social platforms and the city website to really put our message out. And as we talked today, I think really the strength here is that Webster does local better than anywhere else. And they've mentioned some of the challenge sometimes with having just all these amazing local businesses. That was the first thing I noticed when I came here to visit, was the fact that there aren't all these big box stores and it's all mom and pop shops. And I think people love that about our community, and for that to be translated in some of the marketing and the branding, I think people really relate to that and they want to support that. So anyways, I'm open to further refinements on this, and look forward to working with John and his team to start, getting the word out about all the great events and all the opportunities that our businesses are offering as far as shopping in these high peak periods, spring, summer, fall, and our Christmas time as well. So happy to answer questions, or I can provide additional information as it's requested. So
Pretty useful fellow, isn't he?
Yeah. Very.
He makes us look good.
I do have one question though, if I'm
course.
following, your kind of the journey. So
Yep.
businesses will submit content. It's going to go to the subcommittee, and then the committee will vet through it and then send it back to you to be posted. So
I know. Right.
Yeah, it's how this is structured now. John and his team, that they may be creating content alongside the businesses. I'm not sure the final form this will take, but that's the way this was envisioned or built. But again, this is an initiative of the business community. So I'm here as a support pillar, and I want this to be successful and for the outreach to be stronger. The biggest thing I heard, I think a more tailored, targeted strategy, like for the holiday marketing, will be very important moving forward. But what I was hearing, just feedback from a lot of the partners that we, beyond just the newspaper, like St. Louis Magazine and Bucket List, they were telling me, it'd be great if you had a lot of your own content alongside, the paid social placement to help really make this a more robust spend. Because right now, we're sending people into like a black hole. There's not a lot of engagement where they're going. They're going to explore Webster. You have events on your calendar, but there's no video there. There's no audio visual content to keep people there. And so that was something, just feedback that we were hearing from our advertisers as well. Hey, this is how to make your spend, go a little bit further. And so anyways, I'm, like I said, happy to work with John. I do think we need a better strategy. And
to flesh that out a little more, one of the ideas with bringing these marketing partners onto the subcommittee is thinking about this not just as resources, but these are also Webster Grows businesses, right? Webster Kirkwood Times is a Webster Grows business that we cherish and want to continue and help, right? And so I don't think there's any kind of self-dealing or anything by having them involved. And the hope would be by exploring these businesses' budgets and talking about what's reasonable and what they could get back, maybe some of these marketing businesses would be able to get paid to put some resources towards making it work.
As far as like building content, just general city content, like videos and things like that, like that's something maybe like a intern from Webster University could, at least initially for like, a 3-month period, work on just building generalized Webster content that you could have.
That's totally somebody that should be on the marketing subcommittee, is somebody from the Webster University.
Because on the Old Orchard, there's a university
Rep.
rep now.
On the
Yeah,
commission.
Elliot, I think. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would just say,
Because he had mentioned possibly like being able to, bring that up to the university, but like that might be a good, instead of somebody having to spend money obviously to do all this stuff.
Yeah, we'd love if the marketing class would adopt us.
I would say though that in the past, we did have videos that were produced by interns from the university, and they need extremely clear directions of what the content needs to be. They had come to our business and they were most comfortable videoing our carpenter building benches and not our business and what we do. Our marketing person tried to direct them to that, but that didn't make the cut.
I get it.
Carpenter made the cut. Literally.
Nice.
Any other questions or comments?
One thing I just want to circle back, because, Jen, I'm concerned about stage 2. Right, in the process. And I'm just for consideration, much like how we work with the newsletter and how the commission operates, does it make sense to just kind of nail down dates, saying submission is by the second Tuesday of every month? Right? Approval will be, they don't need to know, right? That'll be pretty opaque to the business owner, but internally, right, the content will be reviewed by the last Thursday of the month, and it'll be posted, boom. So that you're not just, because I can imagine there'd just be an uncontrolled avalanche of content coming in on any given day.
Well, you're right. And if we get the events put into these seasons, you can put it together a calendar and then have those leads and then have a place where it's deadline days and all that kind of stuff. That's really good. As opposed to just 7 days before.
Ideally, as a small business, you have things mapped out like that. But the reality is a lot of times you're shooting from the hip, like a couple weeks out.
That's fine to randomly have it come in, but internally for the subcommittee to have some dates.
100%. People will learn when their stuff's not posted and their buddies is. I mean, it is. It's just.
Well, I'm thinking too, like the subcommittee maybe there should be like sort of liaison from each district to like be like, okay, this is, let me take to the subcommittee, like from like the Merchant and Business Association, this is all list of all the events we have and the dates for the year. Like here they are, so you can get them all on the calendar, like all at once, like and kind of facilitate
Yeah,
that way.
I would like to do like we did I didn't make it to any of those, but I intended to do one more visit before this all gets launched to each taxing district and trade association, just to kind of personally talk about it and look at we're starting to have some good material to kind of present with, right? And I think this is a topic like Tammy said, the people are going to be eager to get a piece of, because this is very, we stopped doing social media advertising 5 years ago because I didn't trust the numbers I was getting from these companies, right? And it just didn't make sense to me. And I wasn't seeing it in the store, right? And so much of this advertising, like the carpenters, right? We hire these young girls to do some of this stuff and they can get people to like it, but I can't get an order on the website, right? And so I need something that's gonna chain that, and can't be a not common problem, right? I think most people are experiencing actually seeing. I can get people engaged because stuff's funny. We had a period earlier this year where this one social media person was doing a great job. We were getting tons of people, but it wasn't moving the number on the revenue. And as great as that is, we're not in that business of being social media stars, right? So.
Jordan, thank you. You've done a great job with this.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very easy to follow. Okay, great. Then we have the annual report. I just took the format of what we submitted last year and updated it for this year, except for the budget request dollar amount. That we can get from from what was awarded. Has anyone had the chance to read through this and see if I missed anything? Because we want to be sure everybody works really hard on this commission, make sure that we don't leave anything out and keep council informed.
Material and supplies has our badges.
Oh, I was thinking about that today too. Our name tag badges, do we have those?
So not yet. Jordan is working on that because we're going to try to do it for all of the boards and commissions.
Okay.
And I think that could just come out of the city budget line since we want to do it for all the boards and commissions.
Okay. So as far as the budget dollar amount, when looking at the worksheet and what was approved by council this year, I think we do still, even though it's not a CID, we do have some important information that we may need to bring people together to talk about that might lie outside of the coffees, since there's only actually 2 coffees a year and the after hours are really a networking opportunity. I was thinking that we could just ask for the same. Anybody have any comments or questions? Councilmember Hassemer.
I didn't do my homework.
Let's go back around. The amount was not what I have in this draft of the annual report of 10,000. The amount that was awarded was 6,000 to cover all of our supplies, networking, copies, supplies that we would need for
Yeah.
copies.
It's good to
if we
keep it.
need.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, there might be some material supply that we're responsible for, like for coffees and stuff.
Did we spend it all last year?
Well, we're not done this year. We're only halfway through the year.
Okay, so
And
we're
that's
still
what,
on the same
that's
fiscal.
what, the performance report is that what's? It's, yeah.
Yeah, so we're halfway through materials.
Yeah, so we've spent 2,500. And we were awarded 6,000. And this was as of last January 8th.
So it's actually about 2,200, 2,100, because it's not debited the 360 from the happy hour.
Oh, well, then we've spent closer to 3,000, which is like
Yeah.
half, and it's halfway through the year.
On track.
So, I would propose that we would request 6,000 again.
I second that.
Everyone in favor? Any opposed? Great. All right, and then we start, I started working on just some guidelines because we have like fresh people that come on to the commission, and as people come and go, questions have been asked before, like, well, what kind of information do we want the representatives from the districts to talk about at each meeting? And so I lined up some of those on here. Also, like subcommittees, our subcommittees have dates that have to be published, correct? And agendas, and then minutes, correct? Fran?
Yes.
Yes. So then we'll need that from like any subcommittees, such except for the coffee and after hours.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so like marketing, because they're gonna be going through a lot of
Yes.
material and all those kinds of things, we'll need to have, is it 48 hours in advance?
24 hours. It has to be posted.
Right,
So that means I need it before that.
Posted.
It has to be literally on the city's website 24 hours before you have the meeting,
Okay. The agenda.
the agenda.
Okay. And then the minutes?
Then you send those and I include them with the minutes of this meeting.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
And it doesn't have to be a detailed agenda like this.
Oh, I mean, this is good. That's easy enough.
and Betty also submitted a template for the newsletter. I forgot to forward that to you, Fran, but I can do that.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that we would like to, in the past on like boards and commissions that I've been on, like the chair and the vice chair, president, vice president would have binders that would keep like some of this kind of information at their fingertips, or, if there's any kind of value in that, or if it's just if they just know electronically when they start, or it just gets forwarded to them. Does anyone see value in anything?
What would be in the binder?
It would be like things, information that you would need to know, like that you have to approve the agenda the week before or so many days before, so that can be done.
Rules and
So
procedures.
that, yeah, like the rules, procedures, guidelines, commonly asked sorts of things, like all of the members on the, BDC have us like a start date, and their term goes for 3 years. And so maybe having contact information for who's currently on there, or like when they started, so that we have an idea of if we need to start asking around because somebody's time is, like timing out, and just all those sorts of things that we keep asking in the middle of meetings.
So basically everything we asked Fran, we did right there.
I like the physical binder idea. I think we've gotten away from that in the past, and I think it's hurt us. I know on the trade association, when I took over the open house, there was a binder and it had all the contact information. I was the one that moved it all to digital. And then what happens when you move everything to digital is there's a login. And then if everybody's not able to get to it, and there's not a smooth transition, or somebody leaves for reasons that weren't friendly, or whatever happens, I think the physical binder is easier to pass.
Okay. So I'm happy to start putting together things if everybody, has like information that they wish they knew at fingertips, and then, just bring it to every meeting. Anything else that we want guidelines or clarity on with roles on commission? Nothing, okay, so it'll be a work in progress.
Yeah, we've done a good job. We've outlined
Yeah.
like after hours and everything. We started to be more
Sure.
procedural, which is good, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Then, new business, Betty, do you have any questions or comments or the newsletter?
No, other than, so last month we included that BDC member of the month that I think looked great. I don't know if more people enjoyed the newsletter, but if anyone would like to be the BDC member of this month, let me know. That'd be great. Otherwise, I guess it'll be me because I can just put my own stuff in. But I'd love
I
for
can do it.
Yay! Okay. Okay, I'll just email you, you know,
Yeah.
what you need to send me. Thank you. And then maybe just hearing about the business coffee, do you think it's at the point where we could include a couple details of what the coffee will be about? I've sort of been not doing that because it's been shifting. I've had like save the date, but not a little blurb about it. Do you think we're at the blurb phase?
Blurb phase,
Okay.
hopefully by next week.
Cool. Okay. So if you feel like
Yeah.
sending even just like some bullets, like
You got it.
okay, cool. And then the summary, Jerry, we talked about that. And yeah, there was some good stuff from the city with business license renewal, so I'll keep that on, and the Friday page sign up. So yeah, if anyone wants to include anything else. let me know.
Did you want to include the Explore Webster group? How did you
Oh, yeah,
want
that was
to get people involved with that?
So I think if we get the letter approved, so I can have final for next meeting, and then maybe we can start including that.
In March?
Yeah, in March.
Okay, so we'll do that in March.
It something very similar to that has been in there for a couple months. For the
Okay,
sorry, the neighborhood program.
okay.
Is there a link there? though?
Mhm.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, Brandon helped me figure out what the good link was.
Okay.
So, but maybe it could be honed to be better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Better.
also, I think I have an agenda I've been made later, after this was the first one I sent to Fran, but I included it in our marketing agenda because I see it as an asset of the marketing group. So I think that's something that will be funneled through there for sure too.
And I think that's it. But if anyone thinks of anything else, let me know and I will add it.
Do you have a direct email for somebody from the Explorer
I do.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because she had sent me, and I don't want to go off of this necessarily because I'm part of Sugar Fire, which pays for like a bigger thing, but she sent me a pretty detailed email about like, these are all your benefits, and this is how you like load things up and videos and pictures to the website, and this is how you post on our calendar. So like,
Okay.
I would say she could probably send that same thing to you, that like very detailed, that can go to people when they want to sign up. Yeah.
And Kelly's.
That's because I talked to her at that coffee where she was here, and I specifically asked her, like, can you send me an email?
Okay,
about,
okay.
like, so I know exactly like what I can do, but
Yeah,
like,
she already wrote the letter. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Well, you
So-
would think that they would submit it.
yeah.
You would.
I had the same encouragement from her, was to reach out directly to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was what. I don't know.
But I'd say if
I
she
didn't
could
do it.
give a generalized list of like, these are your benefits and how to access them, and then that way that we could personally share it with everybody if that's not happening on their end.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. This is like one more thing to do to reach out to her.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, pay my money. Where's my benefits? Okay. Cool.
All right, district updates. Betty, do you have anything from Crossroads?
Me again. We talked about the streetscape as always, and everyone's excited. Everything's on track. We are gonna try to have the light fixtures match the ones in Old Orchard, so it's like a consistent along Big Bend, sort of idea.
Plugs in there if you can.
That was discussed.
Yes.
Plugs and hanging. The plugs were big.
Plugs is
Okay,
everything.
I'm gonna be like, they said, have the plugs.
You can't retrofit it, as we've learned.
Okay.
Oh, no.
That was discussed, but I'll remind everyone.
Push for it, yes.
Okay. And then
Is that for 2027?
it is for 2027, and it's supposed to start in April, I think.
The construction
Yeah.
season.
So,
Okay.
and everyone's like, I'll believe it when I see it, but it seems like it's happening.
I'm even like that.
Yeah.
District in particular is kind of a long way.
Yes, yes, so, but yay, it's exciting. We talked about that sort of, I guess, just thinking about the other districts. We are trying to be have more events, so don't count out Crossroads if we're with these marketing seasons. We did a little holiday event that, at least for my shop, a lot of people came in, so that was cool. And then I think we're discussing continuing with like a Halloween, the trick or treat, being more active, and then maybe trying to do something for July 4th, since the parade goes also right by
Yeah.
a lot of our businesses. So just, I know when I attended the one Old Orchard meeting before I officially moved to Crossroads, people were talking about Crossroads like it was on another planet. And it's like, we're not. So you can always reach out to me. I'm a real person, and I'm retail, so I'll email back, or call or whatever. And then, we were also talking about the budget, obviously, and marketing. So Chris is Crossroads, so.
Yeah, no.
And then the vacant spaces, I think I had mentioned that there was a pizza restaurant that was gonna go in, but they pulled out. So that's sad, just because things were taking a long time. I'm reporting what I heard. I don't know if that's true, but so
Where's it supposed to go?
where that striped green and white awning is,
Okay.
kind of like across from Betty's Books, like
Yeah.
diagonal.
What's there right now? Is it empty?
It's empty.
Okay.
So that was kind of a bummer, but it seems like things are still moving along for a couple other. I don't know if I'm supposed to.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Yeah, and then one of the other things that we want to be sure to ask the district representatives is to share with them what we're working on here.
Yes.
Thank you, Betty.
Sounds good.
Alyssa.
The big thing we talked about it, well, we are trying to get more information on the now construction on Big Bend, Old Orchard area, art of Big Bend. So I don't have a date when that's supposed to start, but we're trying to secure information about that so we can give it out to businesses, but that's being repaved, and I think they're doing some stuff with the sidewalks and crosswalks down there too. And then we are talking about trying to upgrade lighting and signage for the north side public parking, which is like behind Balkans. So kind of people don't always know it's there. So just trying to, make that people more aware of the public parking area back there. And even down behind Novel Neighbor, I think too. And obviously, and then lighting as well, rooftop lighting, just trying to stretch that all the way down to Novel Neighbor. We did a lot of budget talking. There's our big thing was tossing around going back with the gazebo series, because it's been a thing that Old Orchard's sponsored for a long time, but it's something that really doesn't drive any traffic into any of the businesses because most of them are closed when that happens. So it's a big expense. So we kind of came to the conclusion that we were going to ask for funding to keep it going, but if we don't get as much funding as we want, we may either get rid of that or reduce the dates, because we want to shift some of the funding to like the fall festival that we did this year and keep that going. So, I mean, at this point, it's still set to be what it is, but that's something that is kind of like, if the funding isn't all there, that maybe see reduction. Because we just.
Do you know, Melissa, if anyone from that district is going to be at the Arts Commission Roundtable next week?
I don't know.
Just because, they may have connections with performance artists, or they may know of,
I mean,
grants or
Fran
funding.
pretty much, and
Grants or funding.
she knows that Books on the Bands, they pretty much, do all the
Yeah.
work for that, but it's just a big chunk of our money goes towards that, and it doesn't really benefit any of the businesses in the district at all. So, and then we're just trying to talk about getting more people to join the merchant association. So we've tossed it around the idea of trying to have a happy hour thing at Cyrano's where we just invite not just necessarily business owners, but business representatives. So it could be a manager or an employee, because a lot of times owners don't have the time or want to come, but just trying to get more people involved to help share the burden of running events in the district. So
Nice. Thank you. Tim?
Mostly budget, and we are close to having, signs done for the 2-hour parking up and down here in Old Webster. I don't know if you've noticed how bad they all look, but, that should freshen us up pretty nicely. And we've been working on that for a long time, but, we're getting close on that. And then budget, still, a lot of budget. Our chair is an accountant, so he's very about the money.
Okay. Any upcoming event?
Today,
Gilman's is new there in your.
Yes. And I don't know much about it. And then there's hula bowls going in behind them, there. So I can't really speak much on.
Oh, and Fox and the Hound Antiques opens this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, right next to San Jose over there.
Oh,
And a new bank's going in.
The new bank going in.
So excited.
and then that hula bowls almost went into
Our
our building.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So then it went to another
Yeah.
food service.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, great. Neat
Gilman's
stuff.
is really good.
Okay, chamber.
Ice cream is
update.
delicious.
Wonder if everybody is familiar with the Webster University internship fair happening 2 weeks from tomorrow. I think it is the quietest thing. So we're trying to really help get the word out. This will be a 2-hour event. I think it's 11 to 1. And Webster University is asking for businesses that are looking for interns, potentially for the summer, for the year. They will get credit for it. They're expecting about 500-600 students. Right now, they have like 10 booths. So it's really going to be crowded for those 10 booths. So if anybody is interested, if we want to get the word out, I can kind of partner with you. I also, for those who don't know, Tim Kyle, who is our new administrative director, I've asked him to kind of help me. We're kind of 2 full-time people now, right? And Tamara Claire, those who know Tamara, is moving on. Next Tuesday will be her last day. And the big news for, our focus for the quad is the Heart of the Community, which is on April the 17th, Friday. It's going to be at the Shrewsbury City Center, where we've always had it. It is celebrating those that have gone above and beyond. The community has really, it's the only parameters are 63119, right? It's not membership related. We just produce the event. Tim is championing a conversation with John O'Leary. If you know John O'Leary who's a member of the chamber, and his Soul on Fire movie is out on Netflix. So John is trying to work with his group to become our keynote speaker, which would be really a huge inspiration and a great kickoff to the event.
He's pretty good at that.
Other than that, we are, we're inching on 300 members, which is great. Webster continues to be, 168 of those 300 members. So that's why this commission is important to the quad, and we're all in. Open invitation. I always say this. I try every meeting, come, right? Everybody here is welcome to our coffees, our lunches, whatever events. We do 3 to 4 of them a month. So the next coffee will be at the Golden Oak Pancake House. It is a Valentine's Day coffee, and they're making red velvet pancakes. Free, and it's free, so come.
Can we get that information sent about the Webster?
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll work with Jordan. if
Yeah,
that's
if you
okay.
could get that out, we'd be interested.
So we're gonna route it to Jordan, who's gonna route it to the marketing subcommittee. And then,
Fran. Right.
so it should be out sometime in April.
Right.
Do you think there's a fee to table at it?
There is no fee.
Wow.
Thank you.
And this is the college?
Yeah, Webster University.
Okay.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, good stuff. Council update.
Thank you. Yes, at our meeting, the other night, we heard a lot about potential performance park. This is gonna be really, exciting to continue, down that path, and explore. And, what was initially thought of as like being all Memorial Park is gonna be, a little bit memorial and a little bit of like arts around. So a couple of different parks haven't been identified yet which ones, but just to kind of increase like available outlets for people who bring their amps and that sort of thing. So to make each of these little spots a little more performance friendly. Am I capturing that adequately? The mayor also read a proclamation for Black History Month and Congenital Heart Disease Month. There was also the news of our city manager's resignation, and I do want to acknowledge, and you'll hear me say this again, you took a project on. This was a bit of a fixer-upper, and you've helped us establish processes and structure and Wi-Fi.
Cheers to Wi-Fi.
Plans. I mean, you really brought a lot of vision and direction. So thank you for your work here. So in future, the next council meeting on the 17th, Councilmember Franklin and I have been working since the fall on a resolution to recognize the vital role of local government in American democracy. And it just identifies how what's going on at the federal level is impacting us locally. And so I can share with you just a little invitation for that. We would love to see a full house on that. If our businesses are being impacted, it is really there's not really a sector that's not being impacted by what's going on. I really believe in democracy. I'd like to see it stick around. And so we are going to be reading a resolution that recognizes that. Additionally, I'll be doing some planning, which is really exciting for the 250th birthday of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Mayor Arnold has already started a committee to identify how we want to celebrate that here in Webster Groves, being that, this is Americana, ground zero with our parade and festivities. So being really intentional on what that looks like. And then going to be excited to attend the Arts Roundtable next week. So I got.
All right. Anything else that anyone wants to add?
Just a few things. Jordan mentioned the city website refresh, and perhaps you all have heard about it, but he has done a tremendous amount of work, as all of the departments. Refresh is going to be really exciting, clean, easy for people to access stuff. So that is underway and tracking well. Budget, as you've all already heard, so I'll only add something quick, and that is the winter marketing. It is not too early to start having those discussions and working with the other business districts and making that plan. Really, right now is the time to get going on that. The last thing, Friday page. It has been rebranded. Hopefully you all saw that in the Friday page. I believe this is the first week Yes, first week, it is now What's Up Webster. So cute. So trying to drive more people to it and because there's so much content in it and updates and we don't have as many people. So Jordan's been working on that. So tell all your friends and neighbors, What's Up Webster.
Make some QR code details, sticker details for point of sale and front doors for our businesses.
I like it. It gives a little more idea of what to expect in it.
Absolutely.
All right, our next meeting is set for March 5th. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Okay.
Great. Ethan?